Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. Hey, everybody. Katie and Nidhi, we're tuning in from Atlanta, Georgia. Wishing you all a great Sunday evening. I'm sure all of you had a great time on a weekend. Hopefully, you had a bunch of appointments and you had blast as well when it comes to just life in general. What do you say, Nidhi?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully, you all had a good weekend and ready to attack your next week.
Yep. So, me and Nidhi, we're just going to have a conversation today. We're going to talk about just basic stuff, how to plan your life so that maybe 10 years from now, when you look back, you're like, you know what? I'm so glad I'm part of this community. I'm so fortunate that the stories that were shared with me impacted me and has given me an opportunity to work on my own life. So we'll just share a few minutes, just talk about some of the things we have done for ourselves, most of the things that we have learned from our coaches, from our mentors, stuff that we have picked on the go, mistakes we have made, the good days we had and not so good days we had. But I can still promise you this: if you're part of this opportunity, even your worst day is going to be better than the best day at your work. Because when you work for yourself, any amount of stress is self-inflicted and it's called passion. But when you work for somebody else, any amount of stretch is equal to stress. So we're very fortunate that we have a hand on this opportunity and we get a chance to share with all of you and hopefully impact you the way we've been impacted over many, many years. Okay. So you want to dive into it, Nidhi?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
So first thing first, when you look at our opportunity, I think when you talk about life in general, if you zoom in a little bit to life, it's primarily nothing more than just some decisions that we have made over a period of time. So in micros, it's just like small decisions done correctly or right decisions over a period of time compound to create a great life for yourself. But sometimes when you're looking at those micro decisions, maybe you're failing. In every hour, maybe you're not most disciplined person. When you look at your every hour, every 30 minutes or every minute, maybe you're not a focused individual. So it may look like you are failing, but that may not paint the entire complete picture. So it's okay for you to fail in the micros, but when you zoom out and you see overall of your life, like for me and Nidhi, when I look at my past 5 years, it looks like we've been winning. But in those 5 years, if I zoom in and I see every single day, there were days when we were actually losing pretty bad. We made wrong choices. We made bad decisions. But you know what? We made our point to make enough right decisions in a year so that the year looks progressive. So we're going to talk about some of those things, share some stories with you, because in all, the life that you and I are creating over here, it's a life that you would never want to take vacation from. And everybody in life, I believe, Nidhi, is chasing happiness, right? Everyone is chasing that happiness. And there are three different ways. I was recently reading it. There are three different ways you can go about creating that life of happiness or pursuing that happiness, that pursuit of happiness that we talk about in America. There are three different ways you can go about it. Number one is by creating a pleasant life. Number two is by creating what we call as an engaged life. And number three is creating what we call as the meaningful life. So let's talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to dive a little bit more deeper into all these things. Okay. So what's a pleasant life? So Nidhi, pleasant life is like you seek pleasure.
Yes.
You seek pleasure. So
you
it's
need like some external entity to make you feel happy and fulfilled.
Yeah. And it's like, going out for dinner. I've done that so many times, going out for dinner, eating out. So creating that pleasure for yourself. And I personally have been guilty of, I don't want to say guilty of it. I've done that so many times, like stretching that pleasure so that you feel you're fulfilled, you're happy.
Yeah. I think it's faking it, right? I mean, if you can't go for dinner or if you can't go for that specific activity or whatever other thing which gives you pleasure, you feel that life is just not good.
Yeah. And sometimes it's nothing to be, I don't feel you have to be guilty about doing it. Till the time we are just not aware, we do what we do. So it's okay. I've fallen prey to this, where we create that pleasure so that we feel happy, we feel fulfilled. Taking vacations is part of it. I'm not saying vacations are wrong. I'm not saying eating out is wrong. I'm just giving my perspective on what a pleasant life looks like. But the problem with
also,
that
like
is,
nowadays, a pleasant life comes from posting your pictures on social media, right? Portraying you are living a life which you are not really living, but it just gives you happiness for some reason.
Yeah, and even when I post something on LinkedIn and people like it, I get a dose of dopamine. I feel good about it. So that's called creating pleasure for yourself, creating that zest in life on purpose, but you're trying to stretch it, you're trying to make it happen. Nothing wrong with it, but that's in a research that was done, they say that's a short-term happiness, and more you fall prey to it, more you'll have to do to feel happier. And it starts with eating out once a week, then I need to eat out every day because otherwise I feel sad. And that's the reason if you study some really successful people like Warren Buffett, case in point, he still drives the same pickup truck, still eats at McDonald's because he's kept his life simpler. So he doesn't need to lean on pleasures to create that sense of happiness for himself. That's the first kind of life that people create. Number two is engaged life. A lot of people at their job do this. They get so focused on their work and they become passionate about their job, and nothing wrong with it. Actually, none of these three ways is better or worse. I'll just let you decide what's good for you. But engaged life is where people become workaholic. They ignore their relationships, they ignore their health. I've been prey to that at age of 25, 26. That's where I was headed, working 13, 14 hours every single day. And I felt fulfilled. I was so engaged. I had nothing else, no idea what else was happening in the world. And I felt happy. I didn't need vacations. I didn't need a fancy car. I didn't need anything extra in my life. I felt happy because I was engaged. I was doing the work. And that happiness is still self-sustaining because you're not dependent on someone else. You are leaning on yourself. You're making yourself perform. So it's still a much better way of creating that life of happiness for yourself. Third category is what I believe we as partners and IBOs fall into. That's called living a meaningful life, where we do something for the greater good versus just self-serving ourselves. And that's why I love our opportunity, for the fact that the only way you move forward is by helping others move forward. And here's when the research concluded. They said the first category, people who create that pleasant life, they are a puppet in their own hand and they have to keep playing with themselves, otherwise they'll get sad. Engaged life creates that happiness, long-lasting happiness, but it messes up other areas of their life. Maybe somebody ignores their health and then they have to pay the price for not being healthy. Meaningful life, people are generally more aware. They are more happier because they understand they are doing what they do for the greater good. And that's the reason in our business, we talk so much about your purpose. Why do you want to do what you do? And where you want to be in the next 5 years. We keep that why right in the center and the middle, so that you know you're doing something meaningful and you never will have to lean on external factors to create that sense of happiness for yourself.
Yeah, very true. And I think when you're living that life of purpose, I believe at somewhere you're going to hit those other three components, the two components, right? You're going to still find something which gives you pleasure, but it's not the only thing you are dependent on. Maybe watching a movie once in a while, or having a dinner once in a while, or taking a vacation once in a while. It's great, but you're not living for that thing, you know? At the same time, if the purpose is to, impact someone or leave a dent in the world before you go, it requires work. So, even if you are not a workaholic person, you're going to become a workaholic person, because your purpose is going to drive you and it's going to motivate you and keep you on track to do the work. So I think we're going to hit all three components.
Yeah. And then let's talk about this, right? We talk about our agenda, or our topic today is how do you plan your life, or how to live life in your own terms, in the fullest terms. So for that, I think the first thing we got to do, and that's individual, everybody has their own definition to the life of success, of life or choice, is sitting down and defining that for themselves. Because what brings in happiness for me, what brings in fulfillment for me, could be very different for others. And I personally believe for someone to start defining the life of choices, they have to ask themselves this question: what are my core values? What do I really value in my life? Like personally for myself, Nidhi, I really value self-development, personal development. I didn't do that in the past, but over a period of time, just because I hung around with people who were successful and I saw how much value they've added to themselves, I became fanatic about it. I started craving information. I don't want to become an information junkie, but I wanted to know more. I wanted to learn more. So self-development is a value that it's a core value for myself. So anyone who's sitting down and defining a life of choices for themselves, something to keep in mind is not getting influenced by what the world has taught them. because it's very, very easy to fall prey, while you're defining, oh, I want this kind of life. It's very easy to fall prey to what you and I have been conditioned for. And the worst part is you and I don't even know we've been conditioned by the media. We've been conditioned by our parents. We've been conditioned by our surrounding. We've been conditioned by social media. We've been conditioned by our friends. So when you're going to sit down and define life of choices for yourself, you'll have to be very cognizant saying, am I under influence of my past experiences, or am I true to my core values? Let me give you an example. Let's say you're somebody like, oh, one of my core values is travel. Is it really a core value for you, or was that a pushed agenda? Because right now, subtly, so many things are getting pushed and we don't even know. I can tell you 4 years back, there was no concept of fall as a season of one of the favorite season for a lot of people. Nobody talked about. Yeah, nobody talked about fall being a season that they looked forward to. Over a period of time, pumpkin spice latte came into picture, and they said, let's not market the latte, let's market the fall season. And when people start saying fall is my favorite season, we will put in pumpkin spice latte for it. And you can look at examples after examples. Diamond was not supposed, not like the pin diamond, but diamond that you wear or the gift that you give to others. Diamond was not supposed to be a symbol of wedding or engagement. It was a pushed agenda, and that's where diamonds became popular and fancy as an item. Okay, so when you're going to sit down and define that life of choices, we have to be very aware that, am I under influence of past experiences, or is there an agenda that got pushed on me by media, social media, by my friends, and am I defining my life based on that, or am I true to my core values? Here's an easy thing you can do. Close your eyes and just imagine 85 years, you're 85 years of age, you're sitting on your front porch, you're rocking your chair, you're healthy, you've been taking Nutrilite, so you can still rock your chair.
By yourself.
Yeah, by yourself. You don't need someone to rock it for you. Otherwise, hey, if you don't take Nutrilite, you'll need someone to rock the chair for you. You'll maybe sit there and move, and the chair never rocks, okay? But hey, I'm assuming you're going to be taking care of your health. You're rocking your chair, and you close your eyes, and and your life flashes in front of you. Would that movie be worth watching? Would that picture be worth watching? Would you be rocking and saying, thank God I did what I did in my life and I have a fulfilled life? Or would you be on your deathbed saying, oh, I could have, I should have, I would have? So when you're defining a life of choices, like for me and Nidhi, I think the biggest thing that we value is, of course, personal development, financial stability, relationships, our family. And I can promise you, if I can accomplish all these things, of course, I'm passionate about cars and private jets and all that. But at age of 85, if I look back and my family did great and I'm completely financially free, I lived the life at my own terms, doesn't matter the car I drove, I'll still feel fulfilled. So you have to ask yourself, age of 85, 90, sitting on a rocking chair, and you look back at your life, what are the things you should have done by then so that you feel your life is worth it for you? Because that right there, you will have no influence on you. You will be operating outside the influence of the external world. So that's where I would start from. So Nidhi, switching gears a little bit, okay? To create that life of choices, it takes a little bit of discipline. It takes a little bit of work. Let me just say it takes focus, work, and discipline.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about that? What does one need to do? I define my quality of life I want. How do I go from there? What do I start doing so that I can create that success?
Absolutely. See, anything worthwhile takes effort, right? Otherwise, it's just the life of fantasy where you assume and then you wish for, but you don't really work for. If Kitty and I were not part of this opportunity, maybe we would say, oh, I wanted to get there, but I couldn't because I just did not know how to. Now that excuse is taken away, right? Now we have the opportunity, we have the vehicle, we have the path to go there. We also have a lot of help available. We have the resources. So now there is no excuse. I think the only variable is us and the hunger and a desire and our ability to stay consistent and persistent in order to achieve the goal. Now, what needs to be done? There are so many complicated things when it comes to, oh, here is what success looks like, and 10 rules for successful life, and then 5 non-negotiables you gotta do. I feel that it's not really that complicated. It's a very simple thing. You got to define your core value. Core value is something which comes naturally to you. Okay, you don't have to force yourself to believe in something. It is something which you truly believe in. Okay, and then you work towards it. Okay, and when you define it, half of the battle is gone, because you will feel motivated and you will feel drawn to work for that cause and to work for that life. Okay, you wouldn't need an external person, external entity to come and give you a pep talk every single time to work for your own future. If you have defined your core values and what kind of life you want to lead, okay, you will need then information. You would need the next steps, right? You would need, what do I do from here? I want to develop some skills. Okay, I want to learn the nitty gritty of what needs to be done. I want to learn maybe some mechanics. I want to polish my skills which I need to do. So those type of stuff, that comes when it comes to, what needs to be done next.
No, I
when you
love that what you
define
just
life.
said. If you are self-motivated, if you are someone who's driven by your values, you would not need external motivation. You would just need information to move
Correct.
forward. And that is amazing. And a lot of time also what happens is, at least that's a good thing that we did. We Once we looked at this opportunity and we put our hands on it and we said, oh, we'll create success here. Because very easy, especially in today's day and age, there are 20 gazillion opportunities out there. You'll have a friend of yours who's like, oh, let's do a sneakers business. You'll have a friend of yours like, oh, let's start an IT consulting company. Oh, somebody, real estate. People can't even spell real estate, but everybody's into real estate. Everybody's an investor.
Everyone is crypto.
Everybody's in crypto.
Yeah.
It's like when you go on LinkedIn, somebody posts is like, this is funny. Someone posts on LinkedIn, it says, I'm really glad, I'm really honored to share this with the world, that with my relentless work and study, I've been able to participate and compete with 5 people. And finally, I was found out to be licensed to operate vehicles along the road. And I really want to thank the Ministry of Transportation for providing me that opportunity. The translation is, the guy got a driving license. It was exaggerated. It was an exaggerated fact on LinkedIn. All he got was a driving license. So when you look around, Nidhi, there are so many opportunities, so much of noise, NFT or t-shirt printing. Oh, let me do the sneakers and let me do real estate. I go on LinkedIn, sometimes see people like 19-year-olds like, I'm an investor. And when you talk to them, they have no idea. They have no money to invest, but they have all fancy ideas like, oh, this is how you flip homes. And it's all theory, but theory does not create results. Action creates results. Experience creates result. So you and I are so susceptible today as an individual to be preyed upon by others saying, hey, get that guy into doing something else. So good thing that me and Nidhi did was, we got in the lane of this opportunity and we said, we are entrepreneurs with asset building, and that's how we're going to define our life. Because why not? Because the opportunity offered money, it offered time, it offered that freedom, it offered that dignity, and giving an opportunity to impact others, sense of belonging, community, relationships. So what else do you want out of life? Quick money? Is that all we wanted out of it? No. We said, sure, I can create quick money over here by working harder. Nobody stops me. Amway is not going to stop me from making money. I just have to prove myself that I'm worthy of it. So we stayed in the lane. We did not get sidetracked. We didn't even look at other opportunities. Maybe we could have made more money somewhere else, but we don't regret nothing, because quality of life is not determined by just the amount of money you make. If that's what you're in chase for, I'm sorry to tell you, you're actually going to die pretty poor. Because if the only thing that matters to you is money, then in your life, if that's the only thing that matters, it's a pretty poor state of living. So we said, we will follow our coaches. We'll define life on our own terms: relationships, financial stability, doing the right things, educating and impacting others, building that bond and building that community, so that when we looked at age of 85, 90, we go, oh my God, thank God we did what we did. So we never got sidetracked. And Nidhi, for that matter, I have so many of my friends who chase the corporate ladder, and they have done very well.
Yeah. And you also got several promotions, but you denied it, right? Yeah.
I got several promotions. I didn't take it, but still the case in point is, I have some of my friends who are head of a department. I'm no head of no department. Some of them are actually VPs in the company. But when I look at them, I'm happy for them. I am not trying to say, oh, he beat me. That was his game or her game. They wanted to do what they did. I have so many of my friends who work for Google and they work for Apple. I I doubt I'll be able to crack an interview with Google. I'm not one of the smartest bulb in the hallway. But when I looked at our opportunity, I said, I don't need to be smart. I just need to be able to learn some basic things and duplicate myself. So I stopped comparing myself with others and I stopped chasing things that others were chasing because I said, I'm going to chase what I'm in the race for.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I know that not everything that shines is a glitter, right? Sorry, it's not a gold, right?
It's not glitter, it's not
It's not, yes, not glitter, it's not gold, something else. But my point is, you're talking about comparison of yourself, and a lot of time we don't intend to, but we end up doing it because there is a constant imprint in social media, right? It's right on your face. You see someone going for a vacation, you see someone maybe getting a new car, or you see someone buying something, going on a shopping spree, but you never know what's happening closed doors, or what credit cards they are swiping. Some of us needs to actually
like
go and see.
We used to talk about this, right? It's not even people go to concert and they post pictures. I didn't care about when my friends went to the concert. I said, show me the car that you drove to concert. Some of them didn't even have cars. They had to take Uber to get to the concert, but they were stupid enough to spend $150 on the concert.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying don't go to the concert, but I never fell prey for it. I said, I don't care which concert you went to. Show me what happened after and show me what your next week looks like. Because if you need someone external happiness for you to feel happy, then it's a pretty sad state of living.
Oh yeah. Some of us needs to go Instagram versus reality check. And then you would see, what happens behind those beautiful pictures.
True. It's like, husband, wife, they're all smiley when the picture was taken, because that's what we do. You put a camera in front of anybody, they smile. But before the camera, they were probably maybe killing each other. Who knows, right? So, and maybe they were happy. I don't know. But why should I be focused on others?
I'm going to stay in my own lane.
I'm going to stay in my own lane.
I know where I'm going. I'm pretty confident in.
It's like Michael Phelps is not trying to figure out how many 3-pointers did LeBron James score. And he's not going to ever compete with LB in terms of basketball, because that's not his gig, that's not his sport, that's not his art. So why should I look at other winners? I want to look at winners in our industry, and I don't want to compete with them, but I want to get inspired by them and said, if you can do it, I can do it, because this is not talent based, this is skill based, and skills can be acquired. And on the other side, Nidhi, if we keep building on this, sure, we have this big idea of goal setting and chase your goals and define a life of choices and then work towards it. But sooner or later, we accomplish goals based on our habits. And a lot of time when people set goals and they miss it, it's not that they didn't have the willingness, they didn't have the desire, but they were just not ready for it.
Yeah, they didn't have maybe systems in place to achieve it.
System in place, or they've not paid the price enough.
Mature enough.
It's like, let's say I want to run a marathon, and I just wake up one day and I go, oh my God, I'm motivated, so I'm going to run a marathon. And I enroll next day and I go run a marathon. I'm going to be on the stretcher. They're going to call ambulance for me, for sure. I have the willpower, but I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the system. I didn't practice. So a lot of time when people miss goals, they blame the business. They say it's hard. No, it's not hard. You have not developed yourself enough to handle the work. You're not ready for the goal. Good part is setting that goal maybe stretches you a little bit, but a better strategy is putting habits in place for yourself. Yes. And that's the reason I think it's beating the dead horse when we talk about listening and reading and doing the discussions and talking to your coach. When you don't feel like talking to them, picking up the phone and saying, hey, coach, I just don't know where am I going wrong. I don't have the desire and that willpower in me. Can you give me some systems? What do you do? Asking those questions, because Nidhi, in my experience, I can read 10 books and find answers, or that 10 minutes of a phone call with Pankaj would sort out so many things for me.
Yes.
And I'm not saying information is not there. There is information, but I wanted to get to the quickest information so I can move forward the faster.
It's the quickest information mixed with experience and a good heart, right? Because my coach knows me, so they know what works for me, what is going to help me out, and what is going to maybe distract me. So, when I reach out to Archana, she exactly knows what are some of the things which are going to work for me. And if she does not know that, at least she's going to point me towards the direction where I'm going to find and get the quickest results and the answers.
That's very true.
Yeah.
It's very true. And then there were moments when I talked to Pankaj, and today we can talk about all these things that don't look at other winners. You be the standard for yourself. But there were times when, we compared ourselves. We're like, why am I not moving forward? And why is this not happening? And I remember throughout some of those discussions, things coming up like, if your outward focus, then how would you have inward happiness? If all you're doing is comparing yourself with others, you're just trying to accomplish a goal without setting systems, you'll always be at a mercy of a good and a lucky day. But if you have habits that you have harnessed, like listening and reading, going to all the meetups and doing your appointments every single week, there is going to be a point in time when the business is no longer linear for you. It actually takes off exponentially. And I think that's what a lot of people miss. They see the linear phase of the business. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. But there comes a time when you have 10, 15 people team, 1 + 1 does not even exist for you. You put in 2 hours and there are 6 people in your team putting in 2 hours. That's 7 times 2, 14 hours going into your business in a single day. How would you not move forward? Like if I look at some of the Q12s, I think there are 30, 40 hours going into their business every single day. And that's where you beat people who are not in the business, because time compounding is such a phenomenal thing that a lot of people don't even understand in our business.
Yeah. And it's like, it's actually getting to that point, right? That's maybe the hardest one. And then most people don't reach at that point for any XYZ reason, and some of them just drop 3 feet from gold. They are right there. They just need a little push, a little nudge, not from anyone else's side, from their own, because when you feel like you want to do it on your own, you're going to do it. When you need a constant reminder by somebody else to tell you, it could be your spouse, right? When you need a constant reminder and a constant nudge from someone else, even if you give 100% of your effort, it's still not going to be most effective, but because you are doing it under influence of someone. Maybe you are doing it to please someone. Maybe I'm doing it to just get it out of the way, but I'm not doing it wholeheartedly. That's the reason I'm going back again to that core value. And why am I going to do that? So that I exactly know what my end result looks like. And the ride can be bumpy, right? It requires hard work. It requires consistent amount of work and passion and enthusiasm and consistency, persistency, all of that. And then sometimes things work according to our plan, and sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, every winner feel frustrated, and it's okay. But the point is how long we stay frustrated. It's few seconds or maybe an hour, and then that's it, bounce back. I mean, where am I gonna go and cry?
Yeah. It's like this, if you want life of choices, then get ready to work for those choices. Otherwise, you'll have to accept what's handed to you. It's like, I think Robert Kiyosaki talks in his book, right? If you're not going to work on your own life, if you're not going to be an entrepreneur who's going to create success, then get ready to take orders from somebody else for the rest of the life. And here's a cool part about entrepreneurship. They say entrepreneurship is reserved for resilient. If people don't have that resilience, they don't have that tenacity, they don't have that, strong willpower, or just strong, they're just strong. They're just strong. If they're not strong, anybody can blow them away. And those are the people who are amazing fit to work in the E quadrant for the rest of their life.
Yeah, we are talking about winning in life, right? And there is a very famous quote saying, winning is not gonna visit you in your dreams, it's gonna visit you in your nightmares, because it's gonna require you to step up, and it's gonna require you to get out of the comfort zone. And if you're not growing, if you're not challenging yourself, then you're not changing. And sometimes the change is uncomfortable, but we just learn to welcome it.
Yeah. And some people get scared. They're like, oh my God, entrepreneurship, I just signed up for the glamour. But before you get to the glitter and the glamour and the shine, you'll go through the grind. And if I don't want to go through the grind, I cannot demand the shine.
I think when you go to the grind, the glamour comes by default.
That's true. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah, you will
let's talk about this.
Glow of glamour.
Glow of glamour. That's right. Now let's talk about this, right? There are two things that we all have that we use to create more of those two things. And that's the time and money. And it's a little extra time that we have in our life that we devote towards building an asset. And that little leftover money or little money from our existing paychecks that we pull to be an entrepreneur. So for you and I, we became good stewards of our time and good stewards of our money. I remember we were in 1-bedroom apartment And I think we were happy then, we are happy now, we'll be same happy when we're in the mansion.
It's who you are.
And I think it's
Who you are.
who you are, because the material stuff never brings in the happiness, but the core of you is who you are. But still, I remember when we were in a 1-bedroom apartment, we had just no second agenda. Our only goal was, am I putting my best foot forward? Actually, am I putting both the foots forward or both the feet forward to push my business ahead? And we became good steward of our time. I never chased corporate promotions. I worked hard so I don't get fired, but I didn't work hard to prove my point and argue with people and act smart and have my whole focus on job so I can land a promotion. Because promotion in corporate meant bigger title to shine up your ego. That doesn't feed your family. So
We didn't go to honeymoon.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah,
We
because
went 1 year later in Achievers trip.
yeah, because, and I'm not saying you shouldn't go on vacation, but I felt we were happy that I didn't have to take vacation to be happy. Now, sure, I like this whole idea of create experiences and build memories, but we have memories from 1-bedroom apartment. I remember buying a couch and the lady gave us some balloons for free for some stupid reason. She gave us balloons, and we were so happy that we got some. We put
free balloons.
Yeah, we posted pictures of free balloon on our wall. We were just crazy, so stupid people all together. But we were happy, but our time went into creating that asset for ourselves. We didn't have all the energy to work a job, do 20 different other things, and build the business. We said it's going to be job, family, whatever our religious beliefs are, and then we hit it hard in the business.
Yeah, I think by the grace of God and constant connection with the upline, we were not very distracted, and we were able to do something for ourselves and for our business, which is at one point of time we can say we can pass on to our next generation, right? Because we didn't have kids then, we have a little one now, and I just don't want to leave a loaded Instagram account for him. I want to leave a loaded bank account for him. I mean, he has his own destiny and he's going to work
we
on
gotta
it.
talk about that, because
But
for me, at least I believe in this. Legacy is not what you leave for others; it's what you leave in others.
I get that.
So
point.
I can give him a good guidance. I can teach him stuff that I was not aware of. But money wise, I'm not sure if I'm willing to share my money with the dude. He has to earn it.
We will talk about
But
it. However, my point was, we talk about creating memories and we talk about having those experiences. I just don't want to be so busy that only thing I have is my loaded social media profile and then my bank account suffers.
Yeah, that's true. And when it comes to that time, so we were good stewards of our time and good stewards of our money. I enjoy eating out. I have a good handle on it now. But that time I remember very consciously making a decision that I am not going to eat out, because I just didn't have the money to go have brunches outside and also buy Amway products and also honor the partnership and be on subscription. We never wanted to do things minimum, because once our coaches said, hey, this is what they did to create choices, I said amen to it. It's my life, it's my business. I will do what I need to do to create success for myself. And I became good at saying no to stuff. I remember one of my friends calls me in the evening hours. He says, hey, I'm going to be moving this weekend. Can you help me move? I said, no, I'm not available, but I can actually I can hire someone for you, and I can take care of paying him money to help you move because you're a friend of mine. But I cannot I'm not a mover. I'm not worth $10, $20 an hour. Maybe my check from the business that time was maybe $100 a month, but I felt I'm a multimillionaire. I'm an entrepreneur. You cannot just steal away my hours just like that.
You're not a mover. You're not a babysitter. You're not a driver. Yeah. None of that stuff, because
I got good at saying no. And if somebody got upset, if my friend got upset because I said no, because I was not available, that tells me how deep rooted that friendship was. So someday we have to get good at saying no so that you can say yes to life. Because if you keep saying yes to everything, then get ready. Life is going to say no to you. And then you have to end up working for somebody else. And then you're like, oh my God, why is life so hard on you? Why is life so hard on me? Life is hard on you because you just never knew how to stand up and say yes to the right thing for yourself.
Yeah, I think we implemented that fundamental very early on in life, that you have to be selfish for certain period so that you can build something for yourself and for your family. And after that, hey, you have time and you have money, you can do what you want to. But for that specific period, you got to focus on yourself and you focus on your craft and you got to focus on your business. And that's the only thing you're going to do. If someone gets upset, you got to relook in that relationship, because they may not be very well supportive of what you are trying to accomplish. But get selfish for that short period of time so that your friends and family can reap the rewards of your hard work.
Yeah, first time I heard that, like, become selfish, I'm like, oh my God, what is this community
That's
about?
against the core value.
This is so against me. I don't want to be selfish, but I had to listen to the complete statement. It was like, get selfish for short period of time so that you can be selfless for rest of your life and you can touch and bless many, many lives. And some people you're going to touch financially, which means you're just going to give your money away. You're going to buy them the car. You're going to pay for their education. And some people you'll touch just by giving your time and your mind and your skills to them. So we got good with time and money so that we can have abundance of time and abundance of money. Even till to date, we still have 24 hours and we still want to get to the next level goals that we have for ourselves. So we end up using our money to buy back time. So many places. We don't do little things so that I can save a dime and a penny so that I can go out eat somewhere. I would rather eat at home and use that dime and a penny to have someone do my laundry so that I don't have to spend 40 minutes thinking about how to fold and what's the best way of folding. It's crazy when people go on social media and they find out how to fold a t-shirt and they get fired up about it. I said, no, that's not my goal. I want to hire people who can fold my t-shirts. I don't want to learn how to fold t-shirts. Okay. So becoming good with your time and your money, because whatever has your focus is going to grow. So if you're focused on learning the best way to fold t-shirts, get ready. You'll have a good wardrobe and a nice organized wardrobe, but bank balance might be messy. Or you might have to work for the rest of your life.
Wardrobe in the same house.
Wardrobe in the same house. Or you can get focused on creating assets, creating pipeline source of income, creating a passive income for yourself so that you can do things that you really want to do for yourself. Now, we are never going to say that money is the only thing for you, but it does play quite a bit of important role to help you do stuff that you really wanted to do. Like for us, it's...
Yeah, they say, most problems in life can get solved with the money. And the ones who cannot get solved with the money, we need time for it, right? But we don't have time because we are busy working for money. So it's a vicious circle. And, we wanted to get rid of that one. So we got to invest time and money so that we can reap time and money in abundance.
That's true. And then, from there, when you're working, when you're taking care of your time, you're taking care of your money, you're a good steward of it, you will be blessed, because universe watch, it gives you what you take care of. So if you take care of your time and you guard your money, it's going to give you more time and it's going to give you more money. I'm not saying take your money and hide it under the pillows and all that. I'm not saying all that. I'm saying putting money to use for a right reason, for a right purpose. It's amazing how people will drive few miles or they'll drive miles to go buy a bag on discount, but they would not buy a book and they would try to find a free PDF. I'm not saying it's a wrong thing to save $10 on a PDF, but that mentality, that mindset where you are like, bag is more important than a book. You know why? Because you can show a bag to your friend, but nobody cares about a book. You should be actually the opposite. Here's a beautiful statement I heard from Jim Brooks. He said, look at the masses, do the opposite. And if some of you don't know Jim Brooks, he's the guy who coined this quote. And I love this quote. It says, the man makes the dream, then the dream makes the man. That's Jim Brooks. He made a statement. He said, look at the masses, do the opposite. When they go chasing that sale, you go buy a book. When they go posting pictures of latte, you post pictures of your podcast, what you learned out of it. When they post pictures of Netflix and binge watching, you post pictures of you actually sleeping. Sleeping is much better than just binge watching because you were bored. Spending time with family is much better than just being bored and watching something on Netflix. So don't chase what the world is chasing, because if you chase normal, you will be normal. But if you chase unconventional, if you chase what some of your coaches have done, like for us, when we looked at Pankaj and Archana, we said, oh my God, they're different. They talk different. They walk different. They talk about health. I'm like, nobody discusses health in a party, but they talk about health. They talk about financial security. Last time I went to my friend's party, they were talking about elections and they were talking about wars. And here's Pankaj talking about health. I'm like, this is a different kind of party, but I like this party because I want to be healthy. I don't want to go to war. So look at the masses and do the opposite. Here's a challenge. We have to stay within the masses, right? We have, still part of the family, and we have cousins and friends who are still that 95% on the E quadrant and the S quadrant. So I had to guard my time. I had to guard my mind. I had to guard my ears. Like I listen
you need to
something.
guard your gates.
Yeah, I had to guard my gates. I'm not going to spend my time watching things that are not going to help me. I'm not going to hear stuff and then internalize it just because somebody said that. It is amazing when people start taking it. This is partners, been in the business many years, and then some person shows up in their life and that person takes over as a chief influencer. Why? Because he bought a new car. A new car of your friend makes you switch your coach and a mentor, or makes you switch your influence. You are completely off track. So for us, didn't matter who got what. For us, it was one source of influence. It was our coaches, because they had the life that we wanted, not just the bling bling stuff. They had the life that we wanted for ourselves.
Yeah, and then it was a conscious decision from our side to let our coaches influence our life. Because if I go in a shell and if I say, do whatever you want, I'm not going to let you influence me, then even God can't influence anyone, right? But we have to open up, and we had to say that there is Pankaj and Archana who have a vested interest in KD and Nidhi, and we're gonna let them influence us in multiple areas of our life, our finances, our relationship, our health, the way we live life, the certain philosophies and fundamentals. We're gonna let them talk into our life so that we get a better perspective, and we have a good mastermind alliance with someone who has a lot of information, lot of wisdom, and a fruit on a tree.
Very true. And, we'll get off this topic and then start closing things out. But I remember reading a book called Think and Grow Rich, and it talks about this concept of Mastermind Alliance. And I was like, what does it even mean? It basically means when two minds are in agreement on a goal, that goal is going to happen. And I was like, oh, so me and my roommate can agree on something, but would that actually be Mastermind Alliance? But then I had to ask myself, does my roommate have what I want to have? Does that person have that capacity of thinking to create life that I want for myself? So I had to get in Mastermind Alliance with someone who was ahead of me, someone who has accomplished things. And it was not easy, because what my friends told me was the easy advice. What my coach told me was a hard advice, but it made my life easier. The choice was hard. The end result was easy. A lot of your friends will tell you things which are easy, but the end result is a hard life. So I had to focus on doing the things that are actually going to get me to a life that I want for myself. Okay. And as we are closing out, I think one of the biggest factors that decides the kind of life you're going to have for yourself is that deep-rooted belief in yourself, because you will never perform to a level of your goals. You will always perform to the level of your belief. So I had to ask myself a question. Do I think I deserve to live in a better home? Do I think I deserve to drive a nicer car? Do I think that I deserve someone cooking for me? Like not just my spouse, but having a chef walk in and cook for us. Do I deserve that lifestyle? And if I do believe that I have, then I'm going to work towards creating that life for myself. Because if I don't believe, I will never even work towards it. So I had to work on my this thing right here, 3-pound deal between your 2 ears. I had to fix this so that my outward can be fixed. When you work on inward things, your outcome and your outward stuff changes. But if you just keep focusing on outwards and inward doesn't change, you are bound to fail in life. So I had to work on my belief. Starting out, I didn't believe I deserved the best. My only goal was $500 extra. But when I met some of the folks in the team and my coaches, and they started stretching my dream. Have you thought of buying a Mercedes? I'm like, I would love to rent a Mercedes maybe, or maybe lean on one and take a picture. Me driving one, I would love to, but I don't think so. I can picture myself. So I had to work on that. I had to talk to myself. I had to listen and read and take all the garbage out, because the world had programmed me for mundane things. They have got me focused on weird stuff. So I had to get myself to a place where I said, I deserve better things in my life. Because if I accept the way things are, then I'm never going to perform beyond that. It's like, if I accept I'm at 165, if I accept that's my weight, why would I work out? I'm like, oh, I'm 165. But if like, no, man, I deserve to be 157, then I'm going to work. I'm going to work out. And next time I'm like about to have that gulab jamun or that trust latte or something, I'll be like, nah, I think I should maybe have half of it. But if I don't believe, if I don't have that belief that I can look good at 157 or 167, whatever the number is, why would I even work towards it? So I had to have that belief in myself. And we continue to talk about that. That dream is always alive.
It's always alive.
Always alive. Yeah.
The moment you stop chasing something, or when we have like I have arrived syndrome, it's done. I mean, you're always.
No, let me say that. Let me say that nicely. I think the moment you stop chasing a dream and a goal, you start dying and you start justifying. I've done that in my life. Age of 18, dream car was Ferrari. Age of 25, I was driving Nissan Maxima. But if you told me, KD, Ferrari, oh, why don't you have a Ferrari? I'm like, oh, I don't need a Ferrari. It's too expensive. It is. It takes so much of gas. No, that was justifying. And the justification was for the reason I just didn't have the damn money that time, right? So when you stop chasing your dream, you start dying, but then you start justifying, saying, I don't need it. I'm okay. Why do I need to go to Paris? Going to Paris in Tennessee is fine. By the way, there is Paris in Tennessee.
They have this height Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, they have an Eiffel Tower this size. And we can start justifying. There's nothing wrong with it. By the way, I'm a firm believer of this. You have your own life and you can decide how you're going to live it. So let me not influence you for it. If you feel that's how you are happy, that's great. But for us, we said, no, I want to go beyond where I am today, because the only way we move forward with this opportunity is by bringing along people. If somebody else doesn't drive a Mercedes, somebody else doesn't pay off their credit card, if somebody is not going to be fully financially free, I don't think so KD and Nidhi will be able to get to the nicer and a better home. It is the way it is. So I love that fact that we are lock, stock, and barrel with each other. That's the reason I feel financial freedom is a much easier task to be accomplished with this opportunity. Financial freedom outside, you're a soul warrior, and a lone wolf is prey to anybody. But a gang of wolf, or a band of wolf, or a pack of wolf, that's the word. When a pack of wolf is together, they're ferocious. There's nobody that can stop them. So keep that dream alive. Fight it out every single day. Don't fall victim to life. When life pushes you, push back. Don't get in the corner, because man, you get in the corner, life is going to beat you down. But if you push back and you stay focused on your goals and you stay focused on what you need to do, you know what? Life says, this dude is stupid. This girl is crazy. I need to leave this person alone and go create stupidity for somebody else. And you will notice, oh my God, my life is simplified. Like for me and Nidhi, we are so grateful, so thankful that we have everything that happens in our life the way we want it. Why? Because we work hard for it, and we don't. And the day we start lazing around, we see stuff going a little bit in different direction, and like, I'm being lazy. And when we get back on track, life actually gives us way.
Yeah, actually, when you're hard on yourself, life becomes easy.
When you're hard on yourself, life is easy. When you're easy on yourself, life is pretty hard. So we had to choose what hard we want. We going hard in life, or we want hard life. So
when you're hard on yourself, it is still under your control. When life is hard, it could be in any direction, it could be any area. So that's super unpredictable. So we just chose to work hard.
Yeah, that's true. Easy. And as we're wrapping this up, couple of things I want to talk about, and then we're going to close out this conversation. Hopefully this was a value add. Hopefully we said something that you're like, oh, that stood out for me. And couple of things. One is, do visit your victories. We as humans, we are, especially if you are one of those person who's working hard, reading and listening, and you're not succeeding, there could be so many factors to it. But one of the factors which nobody talks about, if you're putting in the work and you're not succeeding, maybe that hunger is missing. Maybe that hunger and desire is missing. You are putting in the work because you want to look good, but you really don't have that hunger to get the results. So I would look at that. Number two, even if you're not getting the results, stop beating yourself up and visit your past victories, because you've done something good. You have already maybe accomplished something in the business. Maybe because of this opportunity, you have paid off some debt. Maybe you moved on in the corporate career. Something good has happened to you. Visit your past victories, and it is great. Now, for some of our folks who are lost in the old victories, stop shining your trophies. Because if you feel your best work is behind you, you will never be able to accomplish the future that's ahead of you. If you believe that the best work that you put in is behind you, you'll never be able to accomplish the future that's ahead of you. So see where you are, see where you want to go, and then you put your head down and you say, for grace of God, there go I don't care what others think, I don't care what they say, because when the dust settles, they will tell me I was a wiser one, I did what I had to do for my family. And they will give you an example in every nook and corner in every household, because you were the one who stood up and did the right thing. And so that's all we had to share with you. We hope this was some value add for you. Hopefully you took something back for yourself. And
yeah, that's it. We had fun talking to you, and we look forward to talk to you again.
Yeah, and we will see you in tomorrow's VES Monday. And we have Chetan and Vinita speaking tomorrow. Diamonds in the business, financially free from 17 years. That is the best way to know that this thing works, because someone is financially free and they didn't have to write up a resume one more time in their life from past 17 years. So you know there is a proof in the pudding. This thing works. All you have to do, all you and I have to do, is listen to them and say, hey, what have I not done so far that I need to do to get to a lifestyle that they enjoy for themselves. We love you all. Hopefully this was a value add. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Have a good one, everyone.